guys, and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be one that I've literally worked the entire year on because it is my empties analysis for 2024. Now I have done my empties videos in a couple of different styles throughout the years. Usually I refer to like my most repurchased products of the year in a separate empties video, and I show you all my empties of like my most repurchased products, and we do that separately as compared to like my regular empties, which I'm probably not going to be repurchasing. Maybe I have certain products that I don't love as much, but I still emptied up either which ways. But this year what I did is I split my empties up into doing two months. So in total you saw 6 empties videos, and then I did my most repurchased products separate from that because I wanted to do an empties analysis like towards the end of the year. I wanted to be able to tell you how many empties I have in every specific category of product, like how many face washes I used up, how many moisturizers, how many sunscreens, etc. So I have been making notes and tallies of this throughout the entire year. And last night I was sitting down to do the total of the numbers, to also calculate my total empties of the year, and also just juggle the numbers and understand, because I want this data to be something that I am looking back in 2025 on, and something that I am going to be I'm going to be basing my purchases on a lot of these numbers, to tell you very frankly. So firstly, let's jump into the numbers, and secondly, I'm going to tell you like my findings, my thoughts of how I'm going to make smarter decisions hopefully in 2025 based on these numbers. So let's jump right into it. Now to start with, first let's give you the total numbers and the total breakdown for everything, and let's analyze that. Now the first category was face washes. Now I mostly used up 2 or 3 face washes every 2 months basically. So the first time I had 2 empties, then 3, then 2, then 2, then 2, and then 3 towards the end. So in total I used up 14 face washes in the past 12 months. Now this gives me an average of like 1 face wash empty per month, more or less basically, and I think that's a pretty good number. I also think that most face washes which are 100 ml roughly last you about a month. Now it also depends on whether you're using it both morning and night, or whether you're using it only in the morning. I feel if you're using it only in the morning, it might last a little bit over a month, but if you're using it both morning and night, like if my makeup remover is something like a cleansing balm and I need a second cleanse after, then I will probably be using up more face wash. But if I'm using a makeup remover like the Foxtail Daily Dew It Cleanser, then I will only be using it in the morning, and that way I will have less face wash empties. But that gives me a good number that my average face washes that I use up is 1 every month. Now how this is useful is that in future when I'm thinking about repurchasing a face wash, I will think whether I have at least 1 in my current collection, which will mean I can go an entire month without purchasing it, at least for right now. But if I have less than that, then maybe I can think, okay, if I have half a bottle of face wash left, then maybe it'll last me for about 15 days and I can repurchase a backup in the next month. I don't have to necessarily repurchase my backup immediately. So that's what I mean by saying that you always have to think through your purchases, and when we do an empties analysis like this, it will probably give you insights as to that. Now moving on, next we have toners, and for toners I did not have any empties initially. Then I had about 2, so about 4 empties in the entire year. A lot of the empties I didn't have any toner empties, and then other times I did have empties. So a total of 4 toner empties in the entire year means that approximately 1 toner is lasting me for 3 months, which is pretty good considering like right now I have 2 almost full bottle of toners. So that means for the next 6 months of the year I'm pretty sorted. I will not need to buy any more toners, at least till June basically, if we think about it that way. So that's again a pretty good way to determine when you need to purchase backups for your current existing products going in your collection. Similarly, if I think about face washes as well, currently let me tell you how many face washes I have. I have about 3 face washes, which means that till March I'll be pretty good, and I should check, but I think that I have face wash on my no-buy list. Do I have it in my no-buy list? No, I don't. I don't have any face washes on my no-buy list, but I could clearly put it in my no-buy list, because for the next 3 months, which is when we're going to do our next update, I will not need any face wash, because like I again said, I have 3 in my current existing collection and I use up 1 every month basically, more or less. So that means I will have enough till my next update, more or less. So yes. Anyways, moving on next to our further categories, we have serums. Now serums will include mostly daytime serums because I'm not including retinol in the same category. Retinol would be in a separate category altogether. Now for daytime serums, I used up 15, which roughly means again 1 a month, and certain serums I go through more quickly, certain other ones take longer to use up. So average I would say is 1 a month, with the number to be somewhere close to 15. Now again, I don't have a lot of serum backups in my collection even right now. Let me tell you how many I have in total. I have 3, which is a little bit surprising. Let's see which ones they are because I cannot remember them on the top of my head. The only one that I do remember is the plum niacinamide serum. Okay, I also have my kojic acid dark spot corrector gels, which are being counted as 2. Now this is a category where I'll make an exception because I don't always use kojic acid. So I think I'm doing pretty good with serums, and once I'm done with my current serum, I am free to buy more. And I'll just buy one. I'm not gonna like buy too many serums all at the same time, but I can at least buy one, and that's why it's not even on my mobile list, because this is the category I'm doing pretty good at and I have a pretty small collection. Okay, let's move on next because this was actually very shocking to me, if I'm gonna be honest with you. So for retinol, which I always use the Foxtail retinol serum, I have 12 empties in total in the entire year, which means basically 1 every month is what I have emptied up. But I feel like I go through my Foxtail retinol way quickly. At least in my head, I think I go through it way quickly as compared to what I have actually gone through. When I had specifically calculated how many uses I get of 1 bottle of Foxtail retinol serum, I had about 15 to 18 uses. So that would mean that I am using up 2 every month. But when I look at my empties analysis, I am seeing that I'm only using up 1 every month. Now this could not mean that I'm skipping retinol certain days like on purpose, but maybe I did a couple of times where I was maybe using like an anti-acne serum if I was breaking out a lot and I'm not using a retinol on that night. I am trying to figure out what could be the case and what is the reason for this. But if I look at like how many empties I had every single time I had about 2 bottles of empty retinol. So and that is at a 2-month gap, right? So I think in my head I'm going through this way more quickly than I actually am, which is again a good thing. So yeah, I need to again know how often to buy my retinol backups. I could easily go like 2 months for 2 bottles of retinol and only repurchase this like every other month. Right now I have 1 bottle that I'm currently going through and then 1 backup bottle. So yes, I think till like maybe Feb or March I'm pretty good on this and I don't need to buy backups. That is the thing that I keep telling myself, is I don't need to go crazy buying too many backups. Now moving on, next we have a moisturizer, and for moisturizer I am at a very high number and I want to be more careful about not careful is the word, but I think more thorough with dividing my like daytime moisturizers separate from my nighttime moisturizers. This year I didn't do that. I just put all my moisturizers in the same category and I have the like total number of daytime and nighttime moisturizers, which is 27. Now that looks like a big number, like a really, really big number. But if I think about including like both daytime and nighttime moisturizers, it's actually not a very crazy number. And I'll tell you why. So I go through about 1 night cream every month. And that is because I'm using my Dot & Key ceramides and hyaluronic acid one, which is 100 gram size. Now that size I go through 1 a month. I get about 30-ish uses, 30 plus, not exactly 30, but about 30 uses out of 1 tube, which is 100 gram size. Now it would be changing because I bought the bigger size and I will continue repurchasing the bigger size because it's of course more economical, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'll probably have less number of empties and I will go through it less quickly. But I also want to separate my daytime ones from my nighttime ones because I feel like I go through my day moisturizers a little bit more faster, especially if they are 50 gram sizes versus 100 gram sizes. So that's why I feel like the number is pretty big. But I want to say average 1 daytime moisturizer and 1 nighttime moisturizer a month. Now this means that I am not going to need to buy any gel moisturizers for the entire year of 2025 because right now in my collection I have 12, which means again if you do the math of 1 a month, it means clearly I don't need to buy any gel moisturizers for the entire year, and that is something I'm going to be very, very strict with myself at. I'm not going to lure myself into buying any new gel moisturizers this year. I'm just going to stick to my current existing collection, and some of the moisturizers I currently have are really big sizes. So I think even if I end the year and I still have more in my collection, I will not be surprised. So I really need to be very, very, very strict with myself, especially in terms of gel moisturizers for like my daytime ones. And then for nighttime ones, I feel like I'm pretty good, and I will have enough at least to last maybe 3-ish months. Again, for 100-gram sizes, I know that I go through it like I go through one a month, but with a bigger size I will probably go through like 1 in 2 months, something like that. So we'll see where we are at with that one, but this was a really eye-opening, you guys. Then let's move on next to sunscreen. Now for sunscreen, again, my total number for the entire year is 16, and here it's a little bit dicey, I want to say. And when I say dicey, I mean with certain sunscreens I have 100-gram tubes, with some I have 80-gram tubes, with some I have 50 ml or 50-gram tubes. So it's very confusing in that sense. And something that I want to amend in terms of my empties analysis in 2025 would be not just to calculate the number of like, what do you say, number of bottles or rather the number of products I'm going through, but also the quantity that I'm going through. Now you guys know I love juggling numbers. I love going like really, really in depth in terms of my analysis. So I think it would make it more helpful and more beneficial if we look at also the quantity that I'm going through, not just the number of units. So in every single category in 2025, I'm going to also calculate the ml or the grams, not just the quantity. We will still be talking quantity, but we will also be talking the quantity, like the ml or the gram, etc. So again, 16 for the entire year means that it was roughly like 1 a month, which makes sense, especially with 80 grams and 100 ml tubes. But I also had some smaller empties like 50 ml or 50-gram tubes. So that is why I think I went through a little bit more than 1 a month in terms of average. Then moving on, next we have body wash. Now this is another category which I feel like I have a really big collection, and I did not include this in my skincare inventory, mainly because my goal with my body wash collection is to have enough to the point that it fits in my washroom, because I don't keep my body wash with the rest of my skincare. I keep it specifically in my washroom only. Like I have a shelf in my washroom where I keep it, and if the body washes are not fitting over there, means I have too much. So that is what the state is right now, where some of them are not fitting over there, which means I have a lot. Now I do need to calculate the number, which I have not done yet, but if I am looking at my empties, which I've calculated, I have used up 11 body washes in the entire year. That means a little bit less than 1 a month, but we can still give ourselves that average. Now this also means that if I go through the same number in 2025 as well, I will probably not need to buy any body washes for the entire year. I went really crazy buying a lot in 2024 because I was also testing out a lot in this specific category, and I was trying out so many different body washes. So that's why I ended up buying way too much, and now that I have way too much, I need to use up all of that. So I'm probably going to be on a body wash no buy as well. I think I already am. Let me check and confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that I am on a body wash no buy for at least the first 3 months. Yes, I am. That is the second category that I put in my no buy list, is that I need to be on no buy, and I probably will be for the entire year now that I'm seeing that I'm not going through body washes very quickly. And if I total up the number to see how much I have, I probably don't need to buy any for the entire year. Okay, now moving on, next we have body lotion. Now body lotion is also a pretty big number, even bigger than moisturizer. I think it's my most used most highest number of empties that I have in this specific category, which is 37. Now again, I should have split this up into 2 separate categories, because I feel like I have a lot of retinol body lotion empties usually, because that is a product I go through very, very quickly, considering the size and how many uses I get out of every single one of my Chemist at Play retinol body lotions. So in 2025, I'm again going to separate that. I'm going to keep my other body lotions separate. If I have any sunscreen body lotion empties, I'll keep that also separate, and then I will keep retinol body lotion separate. So that way I know exactly how much I'm going through of every specific one. Now this total 37 includes sunscreen body lotion, it includes retinol body lotion, and it includes like regular creamier body lotions which I use in the daytime as well. Now 37 means I'm roughly going through 3 body lotions a month, which makes sense in my head because I feel like I go through at least one or maybe sometimes 1.5 or 2 of the regular ones, and then I also go through my retinol body lotion pretty quickly, so maybe 2 sometimes even 3 a month. So I feel like the number could have been even higher than it currently is, but I will only be able to do a detailed analysis when I separate all of them and see how many I'm individually going through every single time. So that is that, but I think the average is 3. So that means this is something I can have at least 2 to 3 bottles of each type in my collection at one point, because it's something that I will go through in a month or 2. So having too many is not necessarily a bad thing, it's just something that I need to make sure I'm maybe regularly repurchasing versus like buying too many at a time and then stocking all of it up, if that makes any sense. So yeah. But this is something I need to have a pretty big budget for then if I think about it, and also not buy ones that are super expensive because it's something I go through very often. So again, a very detailed analysis of all of these things is paramount. Okay, let's move on next and talk about shampoos. Now for shampoos, I have 6 shampoo empties in total, and again this is one of those categories where if I say 6, I have to think about whether it is 6 bottles of 1 liter Tresemme shampoos or whether it is a smaller size. So that is why I feel like if I total the quantity and how much quantity I'm going versus just the number of units, it would make more sense, because I feel like sometimes I had 1 liter empties, sometimes I had 500 ml empties, sometimes I think I had smaller than that also, like 200 ml or 180 ml empties as well. So I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna go with like 1 empty every 2 months. And I think I had regular like I was regularly showing you guys shampoo in my empties as well. That is probably because when I oil my hair, I have to like double shampoo, basically use at the same time. Like first it's like superficial oil that I'm removing, and then I have to make sure like the last bit of oil is removed from my hair, otherwise I can have residue and my hair doesn't look very great in those cases. But yes, I think I had about 1 empty every 2 months, which is actually quite concerning if you think about it, because usually I used to think that 1 bottle lasts me about 3 to 4 months. I think that has reduced a little bit. So yeah, it, like I said, these empties analysis could be very, very, very eye-opening. Moving on, next we have Under Armour roll-on. Now this is again something I know that I go through about 1 in 45 days ish, and in total in the entire year I used up 6. So that is like 1 in 2 months, which is pretty good. It's actually lesser than I thought. I mean, if you think about 1.5 every, sorry, if you think about 1 every 45 days, that is about 8, is it? But I went through only 6. So that's actually a pretty good number, and I feel like again this is one of those categories I don't need to have like 6 or 8 backups. I could easily have maybe 1 in my collection, and then like not on in my collection, but 1 as a backup, and then 1 which I'm actively using, and that is enough. So yes, something I don't need to stock on too much because I don't go through these very quickly. So yes, right now I have a lot of Under Armour roll-ons, so I will probably be on a no buy for this as well, in at least for the first 6 months of the year. Am I already, like, is that already on my list? I think it is. Yeah, I can vaguely remember this being on my list of products that I don't want to buy. Yes, it is. So that's a good thing. Okay, moving on to our next category. We have only 2 left actually, and then we'll talk about like total numbers. Okay, for our second last category we have makeup removal. Now this is again something that I kind of knew, but at the same time I was actually happy to see the numbers, because I have 10 makeup remover empties in total in the entire year, and I usually used to think that I go through 1 every month, so that would be like 12, versus my total number is actually just 10. So I think I did better than I thought I would, and I don't have as many empties in this specific category, which is pretty good. So again, average of like maybe one a month, but not really, like not exactly to the T, but usually that's how it goes. So I know how many backups I need to have at one point of time, which is maybe like one backup and then one actively going, and then once I have 0 backups, like if I open my last one, then I can maybe go ahead and repurchase. But it's not something I need to do like immediately, because if I open a new one, then it's gonna last me for about a month. So I can maybe stall a couple of days. And this is just how I think of better financial planning for me personally, in terms of like these specific categories. So I think that's why it's very helpful, is for me to be better at financial planning. Now moving on, next we have our last category, and this is kind of a newer category which I introduced. I also want to let you know that I'm going to include another new category in 2025, which is going to be hair masks, because that is something I'm using very regularly for the past couple of months. I didn't use them regularly throughout the year, but at least I did in the past 6 months. But I was not including that in my Empties analysis because it was not originally a part of it. But I think in 2025 I'm going to add that category, because it's something I'm going through, and I'm going through very quickly. So I need to actually analyze and see how many I'm going through in the entire year. Moving on, and coming back actually to our last category, which is hair growth serums. Now this is something, again, I feel like I'm going through a lot, and I'm going through it very quickly whenever I do, but I'm not very consistent with using hair growth serums. So that's also probably one of the reasons why the number is not as high as I think, because it's one that I introduced relatively later on in the year, but in just the past maybe 4 months, I have 6 empties of my Dermaco hair growth serum, or like the peptide serum, whatever you want to call it basically. Now this comes in a 30 ml size only, and going forward I'm going to be repurchasing the Pilgrim one, because that actually comes in a 100 ml size, so probably one bottle would last me longer. Now of course, if it is a bigger bottle, it's also going to be more expensive, so that's also something that you need to consider. But I would rather go with a bigger bottle and it be more expensive than going through multiple small bottles. So it would still make sense for me, and also the value per se, and considering the quantity that you get and the money you're spending, the Pilgrim one is definitely way better. And I want to calculate how many empties I will have in my entire year of 2025. So that's something I'm not very thorough on the numbers yet, because I've only used it like the past 4 to 5 months, like consistently, regularly, where I have a lot of empties. So yeah, the number is not that accurate, but I still thought I'll quickly mention it, because I'm going to add it in my total empties of the year. Now my total empties of every single category, right from face wash to hair growth serum, is 164. So in total I used up 164 products in the entire year of 2024. And if I do like an average of how many empties I have per month, I have about 13 to 14 empties. So if you like divide 164 by 12, that is 13.66, which means about 13 to 14 empties every single month of the year. So that is pretty good. That's also quite a decent number. Now I want my average to eventually reduce, not because I'm going to reduce my product usage, but because I want to go with economical sizes for all the different products that I'm using up. So that would mean my total number of empties would also reduce, and my average like consumption of plastic or glass or whatever the packaging is supposed to be would also eventually reduce. So that would mean economical sizes, and that would mean an average of less number of empties and less plastic waste that I'm producing. So that's something I'm going to work on in 2025, and we're going to see how that goes. So yes, this was a lot of fun to do. I'm really glad that I did it, and I'm also very happy that I was consistent at it and I didn't make any mistakes. I didn't forget to tally any products. I made sure to account for everything that I possibly could, and it was a lot of fun to do this video and to share it with you guys. I hope you guys also enjoyed this video. I hope that this is something you might, if you let me know down below if you consider doing an empties analysis for yourself after watching mine in 2025, so we can both be on this empties analysis journey together. I'm not going to stop doing this. It's something I'm going to consistently do every single year, and it's probably something great that I'm going to look back on maybe in 2030, I guess, or even beyond that, hopefully. And yes, it was a lot of fun. I'm going to continue doing this. I've already started my list going for 2025, and yes, I hope that you enjoyed watching this video and it was fun for you as well to see me juggle the numbers and analyze my own purchasing habits, spending habits, thinking through my purchases and realizing how much I actually go through versus how much I thought I go through. So yes, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I cannot wait for you to watch my next video, which is going to be coming in a few days. So until then, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm going to see you in my next one very soon. Until then, bye guys. Bye bye.